camera.
Hey guys, Dennis here. We've got Alex
Hello,
and
everybody.
Camera just messaged she's working a little bit longer and we'll try to jump on here in a little bit, but hope you guys are doing well.
Yeah.
After the storms that come through the other night, hoping everyone's doing well.
Yeah, that was our first thunderstorm of the year. So I don't know. I think when it came out of your area, I think it went a little bit farther to the west. I mean, we did get lightning and thunder, but it was just the very tip of it. I think most of it went to the west side of us, probably up I-29 on the west side. But yeah, hearing the frogs for the first time the other morning, and then the first thunderstorm. So that was nice. But I did see on the Max Velocity channel that quite a few of us watch that it sounds like more nasty storms later on this week and possibly early next week. And that we are going to be in I guess an El Nino, I think. Whichever one of how it brings the moisture in off the west coast, it looks like we are in that particular weather pattern. So
it's going to be an interesting year.
yeah, last year we really didn't have any nasty thunderstorms. I mean, I don't even think our tornado sirens went off once last year, and they go off probably 3 or 4 times, in the springtime. And somebody's trampoline or pool is always blown out in the street, across the highway over to our side of the road. And so last year just wasn't really, we didn't even have that really crazy thunderstorms. I mean, we did have thunder and lightning, but it wasn't nasty, terrible like they can be.
And Max says he watches Ryan Hall on YouTube. That's actually who we were watching when the storms were coming through.
Oh. Hello, Catfish. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, Catfish, remember, you got to come on here and join us on the live sometime soon.
Yeah. Same with Mac Randall Jr. I think somebody's asked for him to come on and talk because he's always on here. So
Catfish only here a few minutes, taking a new medication and makes him sleepy.
Oh.
So one of these days we're going to have to do a live feed about 1 o'clock. So that way Catfish will be awake and can join us.
Yeah.
We'll just have a special Catfish live feed.
Yeah, I think we'll just have to do the breakfast live show.
Yeah. Ooh, breakfast sounds good.
So, we have a crazy case to talk about, and it's an old case. And it's a case that's not very well known, and there's not hardly anything out there on social media about this case. There has been a few episodes where a few shows have done an episode on this lady's case, but it's not like the normal missing persons case where you can find multiple different YouTube channels, TikTok channels, Facebook groups, profile, personal profile pages doing. This is one of those that I've only seen about 3 or 4 different things on this woman's case. And she's not terribly far from where Dennis and I live.
No.
And it's a sad case. It really is a sad situation. So, Dennis, you want to bring up her picture?
You got a few different images of her. All the images I've been able to find is those three images of her.
Yeah.
Very, very limited.
Yes, that is. There is hardly anything out there with her. Which it's really sad because she has become a forgotten case. And at this point, let's see. So she went missing. I'm trying to remember how old she would be now. She went missing on December 27th, 1983. When she went missing, she was 68. So if she was still with us, I mean, she would be deceased by now. So hold on one second. I gotta say goodbye. You want to say hi to the audience?
Yes.
Okay, climb up here real quick. Say hello, everybody.
Hi.
Okay, I love you.
I love you.
Bye. See you later. Be good.
Okay.
So she would have been well over 100 at this point. So I mean, natural death. She would have been deceased by now. But yeah, she went missing on 12/27 of 1983, and she went missing. I don't know if we should call this Delavan or Devlon. Delavan,
I think
Kansas.
it's Delavan.
I'll be honest, I had never heard of this town till this case. But yeah, she was 68 years old when she went missing. She was 5'3" and she was 85 pounds. She was a very, very, very petite lady. So she in the beginning of her life, she was married. And I'll be honest with you, I do not remember seeing if she had children or not, but she was married. And then at some point she was no children at all. Yeah. And that could be part of the reason why we don't see anybody really commenting on this. I'm sure there was some kind of, in the family tree, there's people I'm sure still alive that was related to her, but nobody's commenting on anything, unfortunately, anymore. But there has been some comments, and I'll get to that in just a second. So she disappeared in the middle of a pretty nasty, after a decent snowstorm. But she had retired from the civil service employee. She did something. I don't know if she was military or just like a civil service type job, but she was at Fort Riley, Kansas. But she eventually had divorced. She moved into this house and she became very private. She did not go out. She was not very social. She started picking up dogs. So anytime people would dump dogs off or strays would show up, she would pick them up and she had them in her house. So at one time, she had approximately 100 dogs at the point when she disappeared. But I'm sorry.
The reports show that she had up to 200 by the time she disappeared.
Oh, wow. But she, as time went by, before she disappeared, her house became very dilapidated. There was a section of the house, I think, where they had The police had reported like the roof and the ceiling had all caved in. There was no running water, supposedly. So as time went by, things were, very, she was not in a good position. Just I believe what I had heard, it was full of trash. Just I don't know if she was a hoarder or she just didn't get rid of stuff or it was just in such shambles. But eventually, I guess she was going to town. She was going somewhere to get water and dog food constantly. Well, when this big snowstorm had happened, she basically was stuck and could not get out of her driveway. And I believe there was an eyewitness that seen her on the side of her truck, like trying to dig out some way, some shape, form. And then basically after that, nobody had seen her, noticed the truck hadn't moved. And I don't know if a neighbor stopped in to check or somebody did like a welfare check, but that's when they did show up and find that she was gone. That her house key, I guess she used to have on like a clothespin, some kind of sewing pin or clothespin.
Yeah, it was a safety pin she had to her.
She would like put it on her jacket and stuff. And she would basically, it was always on her coat. And they found that by the truck somewhere in the driveway in the snow. So, the rumors, I guess, that have always been was one, that she decided to try to walk to town to get water and get dog food for all these dogs. And I mean, realistically, we know she couldn't have carried enough food at one time in the snow to feed all these dogs, let alone enough water. The second one is foul play. And there was somebody else in that area that, and this is, so I'll bring up another channel, the Whodunit Sisters, their channel. And they do missing people stuff. They do missing people cases, foul play cases. It's two sisters, and they have a YouTube channel. And they are one of the very few that have done, like a case layout on this lady's case. And I'm sure between the Charlie Project and reading stuff online, that's where they got a lot of their answers. Well, there was quite a few people that did jump on their YouTube episode and basically say that you guys are not telling the truth. You're not telling what really happened. So there was supposedly either somebody else in town or right outside of town that had been murdered or was missing, and then they were found deceased, what appeared to be foul play. And it was right around the same time as this. And then, which that situation, I believe, I read something where it led into what they were calling the I-70 serial killer in the early 80s. And I think there was some talk of possibly with her walking to town if something might have happened. And then the last one that we've heard of, and this one's probably the most well-known talked about, is the theory that she had gone out back and she was going to walk through the woods and go a different direction to get food for the dogs, water, whatnot. And at some point she had either tripped, fell, something happened. Something happened and the dogs had ate her, supposedly because the dogs were starving. Hello, Joanne. How are you doing? It's all good. So, so there's kind of three rumors rolling around this situation. There's the foul play, whether somebody picked her up, did something terrible. She made it to town and something terrible happened there. And then she went the other way and either made it so far to the woods and something happened and she succumbed to hypothermia and the cold weather, and she's still out there to this day somewhere behind her house in the woods, or something happened and she fell somewhere in the yard and the dogs had ate her remains. Which, when you read everybody's comments that has ever commented on this stuff and stuff that like Dennis and I have talked about, the dogs would not have ate her clothes. They would not have ate her skull or her hip bone, stuff like that. So that's the downhill side of that theory with this case, is it just doesn't make that side of it just doesn't seem realistic. I mean, people could say, oh, the dogs were hungry. They could have ate everything. Well, yeah, they could have ate everything, but I don't see the dogs gnawing and chewing on the larger bones of a human skeleton to where there's nothing there. I'm not saying that's not a possibility, but to me, realistically, that just doesn't seem. And also the clothes. They would have, at some point that spring, that summer, they would have found her clothes. And they never did. So that leads to either A, she did walk behind her house and is somewhere in the vicinity behind her house in the woods. And that's something I don't think we have looked up, Dennis. I don't know if we have looked up and tried to find her address, tried to find Google Earth images, which would be it's a possibility that her house could have still been there in the 80s and 90s on Google Earth images or on historical images. But I guess the more realistic would have been, I could think that she would have tried walking down the road and was hoping to get picked up and get a ride. And unfortunately, it didn't go well because she's, of course, disappeared. So, I think going to town is the more probable, realistic idea. And either somebody did something or she met with foul play when she got to town. Because I know people have said, well, what if she would have been walking on the side of the road and got hit by somebody? Well, they did do quite a bit of searching, I believe, from what I was reading, all the way into springtime trying to find her remains. And they did not find her remains in the ditch anywhere going to and from town, whatnot. So. Oh, I hear some screaming and yelling downstairs. Oh, somebody don't want to go home.
Yeah, with her missing, they did bring in search dogs. They brought in a helicopter out of Fort Riley to look for her. And going back to the dog theory, not to get too graphic with it, but had the dogs have done this, and we're looking at 4 days from the time the neighbors seen her till he reported her missing and the sheriff's department come out on a wellness check. There would have been evidence there. They would have found blood, bodily fluids. Anybody that has dogs knows that if they eat something that's got a bunch of hair in it, when they go to the bathroom, that hair comes right back out. So I believe there would have been evidence of that if that's what took place. And I am with you. You know, to me, it sounds like she may have tried to go to town or somewhere. Did somebody pick her up there at her house, or did she take off walking? The one thing that kind of stands there that sticks out is her cane was found there by her truck. So was she forced into a vehicle?
Yeah, and
And
I forgot all about that part.
and the reports show that there was 2 feet of snow there on the ground when she went missing. And that December, it was unprecedented lows. We're talking like 20 degrees below zero in some areas of the state. She only had a wood burning stove in her kitchen. When she was digging the snow out from her truck, the neighbor stopped and offered to help, and she declined his help, but had made the comment that her and the dogs hadn't eaten in a couple of days. So her going to get food does really make sense. Food for her, food for the dogs. Then the water she would get water from the water pump at the airport, which was the opposite direction of where she would go to get her food and stuff. And generally getting the food, if she couldn't drive, her neighbor's wife would take her to get her food. So it just, not knowing her mindset, her relatives all lived out of state. They did come to the area and give statements to law enforcement and were able to confirm that she had been financially in a bind for several years. And it seems that most of her money was going towards dog food to take care of all of these dogs.
Hi, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the reality of her leaving somehow, because she evidently cared about the dogs, because I don't think she would have kept bringing them there, trying to care for them and spending, all of her, retirement money, social security money, whatever she was on at that time. I don't know, there's not a lot of financial details whether or not the house was paid off, but the house was in such terrible shape, from the things that I've read that, I don't know if it was or it was not, but, I know that the water was off, the gas was off. Now I think the electricity was on. But I could be wrong at that, but it makes sense. But I forgot about the cane laying up against the truck. So the cane was there. So, and I believe it says that she walked everywhere with her cane.
Yeah.
So that's, thinking about it, we didn't know her. We don't see anything about anybody that says, oh yes, we used to see her walking all the time, and there would be times where she wouldn't walk with her cane, because realistically, trying to carry enough dog food and food for her or the dogs and some kind of water source. But, with that much snow, she could have been melting water with her stove, but we don't know that. So the reality of, did she try walking without her cane so she could carry enough food? I mean, we just don't know. But that's kind of the sad thing, is there's really nobody. There's not enough people out there that are saying anything like, oh yeah, we saw her, or no, well, we used to see her do this, or, stuff like that, because this happened so long ago and she was so old. And the reality is how many of those people that were around at that time, they would have had to have been kids, young adults who would still be alive today.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately. So, there's no telling.
And, going back to when you were describing the inside of her house, we do have a report she lived in the basement, which was full of debris about 12 to 18 inches deep. I've got some reports that show her 410 shotgun was missing, but I also have reports showing that the police found the 410 shotgun in the basement, but her purse is also missing. So with her purse missing, that is leaning more towards her walking off somewhere to go get food or something. The cane is a really big question there.
And was the keys in the truck, in the ignition, or in the door?
No, it was found on the gravel road. Let's see. It was found on the gravel road. It was either right in front or right behind the vehicle. And again, that's something I've got two reports on, because there is a report that the key was found in the ignition, but there's other reports that it was found on the gravel road right in front or right behind the vehicle, attached to a safety pin with a piece of cloth on it, almost like it had been ripped off.
So the airfield was only a half a mile away from her house. She often went there to use the phone and get water.
See, and she was so self-dependent, her neighbor offered to let her get water from their pump out in front of their house, and she refused. She'd rather go half a mile away and get it from the airport.
Yeah, this is a terrible, terrible, terrible case. It's terrible that there wasn't it's terrible that she didn't have any children. It's terrible, I guess, that if she didn't have any children, she could have had, I don't think I ever read where I saw it said if she had brothers or sisters, so she could have had nieces and nephews between her side of the family and her ex-husband's, but I haven't seen anything that says anything. I haven't seen one thing that said I was a relative. Anytime we do a missing persons case, there's always a relative. There's always somebody commenting somewhere in the comments that they are a cousin, an uncle, an aunt, a sister, a distant, a second cousin, something like that. And like I said, we haven't looked to see where the house was compared to town, compared to the airfield. We haven't done, we've all kind of had the sickness again here the last few weeks, have not felt good, had stuff going on, and we haven't had enough feel good time to actually work on things with everything else in life. So I definitely want to revisit this case in the future. I want to try. I'm sure if we go back on newspaper.com and find, the early 80s papers, they're going to have her address in there. They're going to have, eyewitness account statements and stuff like that. And, I doubt very seriously if the house is still there to this day.
No, they. I got a report they demolished the house so that they could sell the property.
Oh, okay.
And I also do have to correct something. You're right. The vehicle key was in the ignition. It was her house key that they found on the ground outside of the vehicle with the safety pin and the cloth. It was found lying on the dirt behind her truck, still attached to the safety pin by a string, and some torn red fabric was attached to that.
So, could there have been the possibility that she possibly could have met somebody and just left the whole situation? I mean,
that's definitely a theory I don't think could be ruled out. I mean, to leave the dogs and just leave the area is kind of out of character, but it's been reported that a lot of these dogs were running loose and law enforcement had to set traps for them.
Yeah.
So could she have left everything where the dogs can get out and go, but still have shelter if they chose to stay and then leave the area? I think that could be possible.
Well, there was some comments that I think they ended up euthanizing the majority of them. I think some of them people took, they were adopted. I think there was a handful of them that had died from the elements. And I think I remember reading, I think it had said that when the police got there, the dogs were eating the other dogs that had died.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they were just trying to survive. But yes, I think they ended up euthanizing the majority of all of them.
Yeah, there was only 7 of them that were able to be adopted.
Well, this is terrible. It really is. I mean, this whole entire situation, and I definitely want to look into her location, see how far, for all we know, it could be full-blown neighborhoods by now in that little town, and it's developed. I mean, oh, there we go. Oh, you did bring that picture up earlier.
Say,
holy moly, that town is...
In this date's from 2023. And it said she lived just outside of the little town here.
Okay, well, can you scroll out and can we see the airfield? Oh.
Right there.
Right there. And what's the name of the airfield? Harrington
Regional Airport.
Wow. So she would walk from behind her house to the airport, and it was a half a mile. Go to the left of the town. What is the town to the left of all that? Yeah, right there.
Harrington.
Okay. And where is I-70 in conjunction with all of this?
Yeah.
Because that's... I am confused.
Yeah, I'm not seeing I-70 anywhere through there.
Um, I'm going to look at it on my phone. That way I can see it a little better. Actually, I'm just going to put it in. I want to see how far it is from my house.
Oh, there's I-70. I-70's north.
Oh, it's north of it? So this is on
Yeah.
the south side of ice. Okay. It's straight south of Manhattan. So Manhattan is north of all this. So it's the quickest time is 2 hours and 15 minutes or 2 hours and 50 minutes from my house. So
And Donovan is roughly 25 miles south of I-70.
yeah, and it's west of Council Grove, Kansas.
Yes.
So, wow, it is a very, very, very small town. So, out of curiosity, did they have a grocery store in that town?
Not
Or
in
was
Delavan.
so was
They
she
had to go
going?
to Harrington to get their groceries. She would get all of her groceries and all the dog food in Harrington, and then her water from the airport. And I also see a report, and I would think they're talking about her kitchen stove and not her wood burning stove, but they reported that her stove looked like it hadn't been lit all winter.
Oh, wow.
And some of the windows is broken out in the house. So with the temperatures that they had all December, well below zero, it's I believe that's going to be her kitchen stove, because she would have literally froze to death in there without any type of heat. And her wood burning stove was her only source of heat.
So
Yeah.
we need to measure from like the airport a half a mile and see if she lived right there in the town or she lived a little bit north somewhere, because I mean, I can't see her walking through farm fields. Her options would have been south. I can't even read that. South 2600 road, because that road goes to the airport. And then on the other side, South 2500 road is on the east side. It goes up to the east side. So she had to have lived up on that side.
Yeah, she's 3 miles northwest of Delavan.
Okay. I don't know. This is crazy. I mean, it really is.
So, wow, this has, man.
Yeah, we just need to we really need to find her address back when she went missing. We need to go to the newspaper articles, probably, somebody around there had a newspaper article.
And this does put her, potentially 3 miles closer to I-70 with the theory of the I-70 killer.
Yeah.
But would the I-70 killer still come that far off of I-70 in that much snow to do this?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I definitely don't. I couldn't see that. Um, let's see.
Just the fact that her cane was still there, the house keys on the ground by the truck keys in the ignition. I still think somebody picked her up. But also, if she's digging out 2 feet of snow, who in that area is going to be out driving at that point?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to find her address right now while we're talking. But I have not seen it. The only thing I've ever seen him reply to is she would often stop along US Highway 77 between Delavan and Junction, Kansas, and pick up stray dogs that people had dumped there. Let's see. Let's see what the Doe Network says about her. I don't think it says her address. Yeah, it just says missing from Delavan, Morris County, Kansas. It doesn't give, the actual address. Okay, so the Manhattan Mercury paper, January 10th, 1984, did an article, and the Wichita Eagle did an article on December 27th, 1984. Let's see. Let's see. Well, what's everybody think in the comments here? Our normal group. What do you guys think? Because this is pretty crazy.
Say, Mac's been trying to find her address. I just used the tools I always use and nothing.
I'm looking up the Delvane, Kansas White Pages, 1983. Probably not going to get us nothing.
Hey, Meg. Are you busy at the moment? We're trying to find the address that she was missing.
Let's see. Library of Congress. Kansas through Maryland. Okay, let's do Kansas through Maryland. Oh, this is... Okay, here we go. Let's go down the Delvane. A, B, C, D, D, D. Oh, there's no Delvane listing.
Oh, wow.
Let me go to Harrington.
She spent time in the Women's Air Corps during World War II, where she achieved the rank of corporal and even served a tour in Japan.
Oh, wow.
They tore the city condemned the house in 1964, and the house was torn down in the early 1970s.
Wait a minute. What now? That don't mean...
No, this is going back to another home where her and her husband lived when they divorced.
Oh, okay.
But she still continued to pay taxes on the vacant lot until her disappearance.
Oh, wow.
So that raises the question, is she still able to afford, and I know taxes were cheaper then, but is she still able to afford to pay taxes on a vacant lot? How much of a financial bind was she in? Because if it got that bad, you think she would at least sell the lot or something to get a little bit of money.
Oh, yeah, you would think.
And she also had no electricity, no running water. She told she did at one point, then she had them come turn it off because, as she told the electric company employee, she only had one light bulb in her home and didn't see the sense in paying the monthly minimum to light a single bulb.
So the house must have been pretty old.
And it was bi-weekly. She would go to Caitlin's IGA grocery store in Harrington and would purchase several large bags of dog food. And the clerk remembered her as being friendly and conversational.
Yeah.
The Morris County Sheriff would also receive regular visits from her, as she would often complain about the increasing expense of caring for the abandoned dogs. And the sheriff later recalled how she would burst into tears when speaking of the cruelty inflicted on these animals who she felt called to take care of. And I finally got a neighbor's name that may help us when it comes to address. Miss Jessie Bettles. Bettles.
All I can find is Morris County, 3 miles from Delavan.
Okay. You must try that name in Delavan. So Megan's working on trying to find an address too. She's going to work with the neighbor's name right now and see if we can find anything with that.
Okay, here's an article. January 26th. This must be when her case just kind of came back around. It said Shelley Jones 5 weeks ago. If I remember correctly, Julia Stoddard had a man that did some work for her. He was arrested and convicted of murdering Friday Longbine in Harrington and dumping his body out by Harrington Lake. Oh, he's not even on the screen. I'm reading off my phone. Dennis!
Yeah.
Okay. 5 weeks ago, Shelley Jones wrote, if I remember correctly, Julia Stoddard had a man that did some work for her. He was arrested and convicted of murdering Friday Longbine in Harrington and dumping his body out by Harrington Lake in 1984. You can search that case.
Wow. Let's see where Harrington Lake is. Oh.
This is an interesting case for sure. After doing some reading, Julia was just not an animal lover, but an animal hoarder. She fed a pack of 100 to 150 feral dogs that hung around her property. Her home did not have electricity or running water. She was the type of person who refused all help offered to her. When she was digging out her truck, she told a neighbor she and the dogs had not eaten in 4 days. Could there have been foul play? Certainly. But what could their motives have been? She had no money. Nothing in her home was of value. Perhaps some neighbors didn't like all the dogs around. Some have speculated that she was eaten by the dogs. However, there was no evidence of bones or clothing. Other theories suspect she died in her house, which was found by authorities to be in a state of extreme clutter, and this clutter ultimately concealed her body. Julia was declared dead in 1992.
I don't know. Dennis Darlington.
The house, the well, and all of her property was completely searched. The dogs and their feces were tested and cleared by any human remains. Elizabeth O'Hare, they never found her. She lived out by the Harrington Airport. there was a lot of drug runners that used that airport.
Thank you.
Spelled wrong. That's why I couldn't find it.
Hey, Megan was able to get an address based off of the neighbor's name.
Okay.
And here's the neighbor's address. So she would have been somewhere in this area.
Okay, and where's that compared to the airport?
This is actually west of Delavan.
Oh, that's east.
Or yeah, east of Delavan. And the airport's northwest.
So that means she would have had to have gone up that road that was 2,500.
Now, her neighbor did say in one of these reports that she would come between their properties when she would go. But that could have been taking a shortcut over to this road, hitting it at an angle versus going the long way around if she was walking. But it don't make sense that she would walk that distance when she has a truck.
Yeah.
Let's look at historical.
Well, that doesn't on this poster. It says the age of her disappearance was 74, but I thought it said the age of her disappearance was 68.
Yeah. Oh, which one is it? I've got 68 on here as well. Let me check this other one. Okay, I've got 68 from the Charlie Project. Kansas Missing and Unsolved has 74.
Huh.
And a news article has 74. So I'll have to get a hold of Ricky with Kansas Missing and Unsolved and see, because he normally gets that information confirmed before he does a flyer. So I will get a hold of him and see where that age came from.
Yeah, because there's a little bit of conflicting stories here when it comes to the age. Excuse me, I had the on like the 10,000th time. Well, yeah, I think we definitely need to look into just a few more things and revisit this and try to see. But yes, Mac Randall Jr., the Whodunit sisters, they did do a video about her case. For sure. So, yeah, I want to say there's like 4 videos on YouTube, and ours will be the 5th.
I wonder if the Whodunit sisters would be interested in coming on a live with us and talking about this.
Very possible. We could reach out to them. Because like I said, they had definitely had done some work on the case. But there was quite a few people that were on the negative side of, the information that they brought to the table. which I mean, they're looking, they're doing nothing no different than anybody else is. They're just reading what's out there, and they're reading anything and everything, and it's just, unfortunately, there's just not a lot about out there on her case.
Yeah. Yeah, because even the news articles that I had found, it's almost like reading the same news article every time. They just say the same information, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I think we should look on the we should definitely investigate what is newspaper.com or news.com, where you can look up all the newspaper articles. I think we should try to find those, because I would say more than likely it probably said Julia Stoddard of 566, Highway 77 has been missing since, December 27th. So, and with her case being this old, could we do a Freedom of Information Act on that one, Dennis?
It would depend. Something we've seen with Chance Engelbert's case being closed and not releasing information, as well as other cases. Randy Leach, for example, granted his case ain't considered closed now, but it's all going to depend on who you talk to there and if they're willing to give that information. So there is a possibility that they would release information. Won't know till we try.
Okay. I think we should try. I think we should try and see because I would, if for some reason we can't find her address, her legitimate address, so we know exactly, because, I mean, let's be honest, if this guy that worked for her supposedly killed some other dude, this Friday, I think his name was Friday Longbine, what did I say, Longbine? And he worked for Julia? I mean, holy moly. What's to say he didn't show up that day? And what's not to say that lake wasn't his dumping ground?
Right.
I mean, and I think in the Whodunit Sisters video, they might have mentioned his name. Very, very well could have mentioned his name. So
we're going to have to look into that side of it too, because I'll be honest, I'm feeling that Harrington Lake and that surrounding area should probably be searched, because if he's killed one man and was found there, and now there is a possibility of number two, are there more there?
Yeah. I'm trying to see where Harrington Lake was. Oh, that's not right. That says 9 hours away. What the heck?
Say Harrington is west, slightly southwest of Harrington.
Okay.
And you also got Coles Creek there, that the dam of the lake will empty into Coles Creek.
Is it Harrington Reservoir and Lake Harrington? There's two different ones. Okay, so let's look up murder in Harrington Kansas, 1984. Or I should have said unalive. I'm sorry.
We're on YouTube tonight, so it's good.
Okay.
TikTok's the one that'll ban you for it. Oh, I'm still in 85. I gotta get out of historical. There we go.
Let's see.
Oh, the reservoir and the city lake basically look like the same thing here.
Really?
Because it's showing Harrington Reservoir, but the water's right above it, and it says Harrington City Lake.
Huh.
You're gonna be, well, unless you're down, well, even that's got, okay, it's hard for me to think that a body could be dumped around this, but again, this is today's imaging. Let me go back to historical.
What did I say his name was? Friday Longbine?
Yeah.
Friday Longbine. Okay, here we go. State of Kansas versus Michael R. Wong. Waugh. John Edward Friday Longbine, an 81-year-old man, was reported missing to the Harrington Police Department on March 15th, 1984. During their investigation, the police determined that the night of March 15th, both Wan and Longbine had been in the Spot Tavern, and that one and the same night, Longbine had been seen getting into an automobile matching the description of the vehicle owned by the defendant. The police investigation in Longbine's disappearance was focused on the defendant, Michael Waugh. Waugh. He said at the end of the interview, Waugh admitted that Longbine had been in his car and had a heart attack. Juan said he had become frightened and dumped Longbine's body in the Kansas River at the Fort Riley Military Reservation. I'm trying to see where it actually said they found his body. Taken to an area near 540 Harrington Lake, where he pointed out to law enforcement officers where he had dumped Longbine's body. Well, I'm not seeing where it says they ever found his body, but it goes on and on and on and on and on.
Now, here it shows that he admitted he had been in his car and had a heart attack. So Juan said he become frightened and dumped Longbine's body in the Kansas River on the Fort Riley Military Reservation.
Huh.
This is definitely something we're going to have to look into a whole lot more.
Yes, we are. That's what I was just reading. That same thing. Yeah, it's quite a bit there. For sure. Well, we'll just have to revisit this here soon and see if we can get the correct addresses, see the connections, dive into it deeper about this Juan, however you say this dude's name, this Juan guy, and if he truly was doing stuff for Julius, at her house. Because for all we know, he could have rolled up and seen her out there and then offered to take her in town and get her dog food or whatnot. Oh, pizza rolls must be ready again. Dennis disappeared on us. What do you guys think right now? It looks like there might be 4 of you still hanging out according to the numbers. So, a lot of these times, so many of these cases, they just have so much to go off of to, look at. But unfortunately, this one just does not. For sure.
So I got all that information saved in a file, and I'll send you the link over, Alex.
Okay. Awesome.
I say we continue digging into this, and then when we have more of this put together, we'll do another follow-up live on this, get that information out, and see where that goes.
Okay. Awesome. Well, before we end this, a couple upcoming things is So where are we at on our current subscriber numbers, Dennis?
We lost one, so we're at 3,004.
Oh, so we still qualify to have the 3,000 member celebration.
We do.
So that is something that we will be planning coming up here pretty quick. So we will definitely let you all know. We will have some pretty cool giveaway things for everybody. We'll set another goal, and hopefully we can meet that one of these days. So, but Mac Randall Jr. and Joanne, and I'm pretty sure Bobby done conked out. But thank you for you all being here. Whoever else might be watching with us. It said there was 4 people watching, so I don't know if there still is or not. But
yeah, I'm showing 5 right now.
Are you? Okay. But we do thank you. We just ask that you can please like, share, subscribe if you have not. It would truly help us out. We would greatly it would be very beneficial to helping us with stuff, and we would very much appreciate it, certainly. So
if you have any theories on this case, please contact us with that as well. And again, the website's the best place to do that. And there is a form on the website that you could send information over to us on. And Max says mine's showing 6. Mine's showing 6 now too.
Okay. Awesome. Well, anything else we need to let everybody know tonight? Unfortunately, we kind of have a short episode tonight.
Right.
So
not at the moment. There is some stuff coming up, and we'll get that out to everybody as soon as we can. But right now, I do want to mention there seems to be a very heavy uptick on missing persons cases when it comes to young females, particularly the upper teens, lower 20s. And I'm seeing a lot of missing cases across the country in that age frame. So just be aware of your surroundings, be safe. If you see something suspicious, report it. It's better to report it and it be nothing than to walk away and somebody go missing. So just be vigilant.
Absolutely. For sure.
And we do have a video. It'll probably be a live. It's in the works to go over the human trafficking awareness with the World Cup coming in this year. We want to make sure everybody's remaining vigilant. So that will be coming soon, and we'll keep you guys up to date on that as well.
Sounds good. Need to spread the awareness so people know what's going on. For sure. So definitely.
So we'll continue looking into this and updating you guys when we can. Is there anything else you got to add tonight?
We got some work cut out for us, another rabbit hole to chase, see what we come up with. I know I've said it probably 20 times already. It's a sad case, but just because they're long and gone doesn't mean they're forgotten. So, but we'll just keep working on it, and then we'll do another update on it pretty soon. And we'll definitely talk to Ricky about stuff.
Yeah.
See what else he's heard about it, since basically it's all came back around here the last, for 3 months, 4 months. So for sure. So
we'll reach out to him and the Whodunit sisters and see if they're willing to join us on here on a live to talk about it, and may have a big episode on it. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan.
So, guys, with that, thanks for joining us tonight. You guys stay safe. We will see you guys down the road.
Good night, everyone.